Music, dance, theater. It's time to take a seat on the aisle with Tom Alvarez. Hear from performers, producers, presenters, and creators who enrich our lives in the performing arts. Who's on stage? Here is Tom Alvarez to introduce you.
Hello and welcome to On the Aisle with yours truly, Tom Alvarez. My guest on today's episode is Jill O'Malley, a popular local actor and former Miss Indiana. Join me now as I go on the aisle for a conversation with Jill. Good morning, Jill. I'm so happy that you're on my podcast today. Thank you for taking the time.
Well, thank you for inviting me, Tom.
And you drove down from Carmel, correct?
No, Fishers.
Fishers.
Right.
Well, it's part of that area. It's a part of our metropolitan Indianapolis, correct?
Correct.
It's like, we're a big city now.
Oh, yes.
Encompassing a number of fast-growing communities, right?
Yes, indeed.
And how long have you lived up there?
I've lived in Fishers for 25 years.
Oh, wow. So you've seen this continuum of growth.
Oh, the growth. And then I attended Butler University, and I remember coming through Fishers when it really had nothing.
Oh, really?
116th Street looked like
farmland.
Farmland, yes.
Cornfields.
Yes, indeed. So it has really come along.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm seeing you out of context. For our listeners, I see Jill at media night at Beef and Boards Dinner Theater because I'm a reviewer, and I have been attending that event for a long time, and so I don't know how many years have we seen each other there. When did you start attending?
Oh my! I started back in 1983.
Oh my goodness!
When I was in radio, and we were there every media night. And I've enjoyed it, and I've also performed at Beef and Boards.
Of course.
But yes, I've been going there a long time, and it's always delightful. It's so fun to see all the other people in media, first of all,
right.
And of course the shows are always good with quality performers and good food.
Well, Beef and Boards is doing something right because how many years have they been at it?
I don't know exactly.
Over 40.
Much more than that,
yeah.
I believe. I know Doug Stark and Bob Zare were partners, and I think they bought that just maybe a year or two after they got out of college at Ball State.
That's right.
So it's been around a long time, and they used to have one in Louisville, I believe. And I think that one closed a few years ago.
Remember the days when dinner theater was ubiquitous all over the country.
That's right.
And now they're sort of out of fashion, but there are a handful that found the secret recipe, right?
Oh, yes.
And Doug certainly has.
Yes, he has. It has withstood the test of time.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, so you mentioned that you've been in theater, and that's one of the reasons I wanted you on this podcast because, I cover the performing arts,
right.
Music, theater, and dance. But I also oftentimes... I have broadcasters on because oftentimes broadcasters are also, I consider artists because it's performance driven.
Yes,
right?
It is.
And if we didn't have broadcasters or media folks, we wouldn't know about the arts because they cover the, I wish there was more coverage, and that's why I'm doing this podcast. As far as print publications, they're far and in between, and there aren't any critics around. And most of the critics are like me. We're online, Some call themselves bloggers. I don't refer to myself as a blogger because for me that implies that it's a hobby. It's not a hobby. I do this for a living.
Right.
And I consider myself a serious journalist. But in any case, not to denigrate bloggers, but in reality, that's all we have now. There are no critics for the newspaper. Remember the old days?
That's so sad. I really do. And I wish
Corbin Patrick and
Yes.
Charles Staff.
Right.
Do you remember those?
I do remember
the
those.
Morning paper.
Yes,
and,
always had to read it first thing.
Indianapolis Star and the Indianapolis News.
That's
and
right.
Their reviews could make or break a show.
Right. Very true.
And they had different personalities. Do you remember that?
They did. They had very different personalities, and I loved their honesty. They didn't say everything was fabulous. They picked out a few things that they loved, and then they said, well, maybe this could be improved on. I just felt it was a very honest time.
Yes, and when I said they had different personalities, Charles could be a bit acerbic at times, depending on which side of the bed he woke up, And he got criticized a lot for being, for being too plot-driven,
Right.
And Corbin got criticized for being too nice, oftentimes.
Well, it was a good combination.
Oh, I thought so. And, I took the best of both of them because I read them religiously. And then when I became a reviewer myself with Arts Indiana and then Nouveau, I remember their different styles, and I like to think I've melded them. But one thing they did teach me is that I wanted to be a journalist first, or advocate first, and then a journalist, because they did advocate for the arts,
Right. I think the first time I met you, you were reviewing a show. It was the first show that opened the Tarkington Theater in Carmel, Hairspray.
Yes.
And I played Velma von Tessel, and Joyce Licorice was Motormouth. And we talked to you after the show, and thank you. You gave us a glowing review.
Oh, what was not to glow about, though? I remember that distinctly now. Okay.
That was so much fun. I really enjoyed that part. I don't think I've ever been to an audition where there were more people that came. It was just unbelievable. I never, ever really even thought I would get called back. And but yes, that was such a fun show, and of course that facility is lovely.
Well, I just saw something on Facebook. I was actually online today researching for my segment on Lifestyle Live when I make recommendations, and I saw on the Palladium website, Allied Solutions Performing Arts Center website,
right,
that they're coming up on their 15th anniversary.
That's
It's mind-boggling.
It is wild.
How
It
can
really
that be?
is. I remember the groundbreaking. I'm sure you do
I
too.
do too.
And I know Carmel had several different ideas that they were going to do, and then all of a sudden it turned out to something that was just magnificent.
Well, it was, it was considered to be, for many, it was very controversial. If you recall, people were concerned about taxpayers' money being used for a boondoggle.
Yes.
There's going to be a boondoggle as a white elephant. Who's going to come? This is crazy. Why are you spending our money on this?
Right.
And boy, did he prove them wrong.
Mayor Brainerd, he's very much an entrepreneur. There's no doubt about that. And he did an amazing job for the arts.
And since you lived in that area, what did you think at the time? And as an artist?
Oh, I was excited. And I know it, I believe, and I could be wrong, I'm going from memory, but it seemed to me that they were talking about just like an amphitheater at first and doing something that was not quite as elaborate. And I can remember when they changed directions, and I know there were so many people on that committee that worked on that. It was so exciting that the Palladium is lovely. I've never had an opportunity to perform there, but I've gone to a lot of things. But I have worked at the Studio Theater, and I have worked at the Tarkington, and all of that was part of that big center for the performing arts. And now people come from all over, to see what's going on in Carmel, Indiana.
Well, they've certainly been a part of, we talked about metropolitan Indianapolis and all the surrounding communities. I believe that the Allied Performing Arts Center has helped to inform, educate, and entertain this community at a very high level. And fortunately, I thank them all the time. They help make my career as a reviewer.
Yes, they do.
I have access. One of the things that I'm doing on this podcast, I'm doing interviews with national folks who I met who performed at the Palladium that I interviewed previously for my column. So I have all these relationships with entertainers that I've made over the years that I've met through the center.
That's fabulous.
Including Mr. Michael Feinstein.
I was just going to say, I'll bet you've interviewed Michael Feinstein many times.
And, I was on the first I remember being on the Hard Hat tour. When it was still just a skeleton, and having the project manager show me the thickness of the walls, and there were no seats in there, but he talked about the fabric and the glass and the acoustics and the the fact that Michael was on the ground floor choosing the piano. And
right.
So when I think about their 15 years now, it's just really, it really, whenever I walk into that facility, I think about that history and what they've accomplished. It's just really neat. It gives you a sense
Right.
of possibilities.
And
doesn't
all
it?
the things they've done with the Great American Songbook, with upstairs, all
So
the.
let's talk about Jill O'Malley. So
Okay.
tell me about that last name. It's very, okay, so are you part of the, I know this, but I want you to tell our listeners.
Okay.
Clear that up. O'Mallia.
Right. Yeah, O'Mallia Food Markets, Joe O'Mallia Food Markets. Joe is my father-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
I'm married to Dennis, the youngest sibling of that O'Mallia family. And he's, I don't know that he had ever been to a performance of anything before he met me.
Where'd you meet him?
We met, I'd been to a party and he had been to a party, and we all had converged on a place just to have a little nightcap and a bite to eat. And a band was playing, and he asked me to dance, and he's a fabulous dancer. I'll just say that. He's really good. In fact, he's not the kind of dancer that you can train. He just has a lot of rhythm and loves to move. So I met him there.
Okay.
And we immediately hit it off. And he's just a lot of fun. He's a great guy, but he was not interested in the arts at all. Sports, everything, basketball, football, anything you can name.
Did he go to Cathedral?
Oh my goodness, he
Well, of course he
bleeds.
did.
He bleeds green. Well, there's the Joe O'Malley
Yes.
Performing Arts Center. That's his father.
Sure.
But I think Dennis might have preferred his name on the gymnasium, but I don't know
Yeah.
that for a fact.
Yeah.
But now he truly is a supporter of the arts, and he likes it when I'm in the show.
Yeah.
But I am from the O'Malley family. It's a very, very large family, and I'm an only child. And I have 3 daughters, and my folks were a lot older when I was born, and so my cousins are like 20 years older than me, so being in the O'Malley family is wonderful.
And that's who I see with you whenever I go to those media
Right.
nights, is Dennis. And then he and I have our own connection. For our listeners who know that I have a Magic Thread Cabaret, a production company that I'm a managing director of. Early on, Dennis was a sales executive with Current magazine.
That's right.
And he was my representative and was very instrumental in getting us publicity through Current and just helping us.
That's great.
Grow our company.
That's great.
We were at the Cat.
Yes,
in Carmel.
I remember that, and I believe I was there. Yeah, the O'Malley family sold the supermarkets to Marsh, and Dennis was on contract to work. I think it was 3 years. It was part of the contract when Marsh took over, and then Steve Greenberg, who was a good friend of Dennis's, and Brian Kelly were going to do this new newspaper that it was going to be all over Hamilton County. And they came to Dennis because they knew he'd never seen a stranger, and he's an amazing salesperson. And so he was a partner
All his connections.
early with that. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And so really the reason we go to press night now is more because of Dennis than me, because of his connection and working with Beef and Boards on their advertising with Patricia Reddick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure about that
Yes,
connection.
yes.
Okay. But he's still an influencer in many ways because of the connection with the store. When I said connections, he met a lot of people, customers, vendors, and so on and so forth, right?
I think he would say that his last name, especially when he was starting in sales with the Current, I think that he would say that his last name opened up some doors because
Absolutely.
they remembered Joe O'Malley. And
Well, that brand, I was a shopper there, and the store downtown, and
Right.
the one up in Carmel. Those are the two that and also the one on 56th Street. I love that. At different times of my life, I lived in neighborhoods near those stores. So
Right.
I just remember the quality of customer service, the products. They were A1. I mean, now I look at Whole Foods and places like that, Fresh Thyme. But O'Malley's was doing it locally a long time ago.
It was definitely a leader in the industry for customer service, and they even had a store in Bloomington. So a lot of the IU grads, yay IU!
Yes, IU. We're just whenever, I don't know when this is going to drop, but it's just days after. Wow, are you still working on clouds like most Hoosiers?
Oh my goodness, yes. Two of my daughters graduated from IU, and I have a granddaughter that's there now. And I was a Butler student, but I think everybody was IU from Indiana.
Absolutely.
Even my great friends that are so staunch Purdue, for one night and one night only, they were all cheering for IU. That is just amazing.
Well, for our state,
yes.
It puts us on the map.
It certainly does.
I've been reflecting on what a great distraction it's been considering the climate of this country and all the noise. We'll just leave it at that. But, it's such one of the few things that's happening right. It's the arts. I keep saying this. My listeners are getting bored with it, but I truly believe it's the arts and sports. It's the only things we have left where we can build community and be a community and coexist peacefully, because we can focus on the escapism, the art, or the entertainment. And, I happen to believe sports and arts are very similar.
Right.
They both have storylines.
Yes, they do.
Think about the script that Mendoza has written.
Oh, my goodness. Isn't he an outstanding young man?
Yeah. And the way they play, their character,
yes.
and all of that stuff.
You can tell they care about each other.
Oh, yeah.
And I love teamwork. And there's no I in Fernando.
Yeah, no ego,
Yes, yes.
And, akin to theater, all the drama and the pathos,
Right.
So,
and isn't that wonderful, too, when you finish a show and it's like, it's really like you're leaving family.
Oh, yeah.
And I did a show last spring, Ruthless the Musical, and we still get together for events and just to have a glass of wine. And it just feels like family. I've had several of those in my life.
I'm
and
happy
I
to
love
hear
that.
Okay, but I had an issue with that. I'm an actor. It's been a while since I've done as much work as you have, and but when I was going from show to show, it was really difficult for me because I would bond with these people, and we were family, and then we go to our separate ways. I really grieved. I had a really hard time letting go of people, and we would promise to have lunch and dinner and stay in touch and whatever. This is before social media.
That's what I was going to say.
Now you can do group text.
Yes, social media has really helped that.
I really miss these people, and it made me sad. It
yes,
was really hard.
I love it, and I'm like I said, I'm an only child, but I have gained so many brothers and sisters through the theater that it's amazing.
Okay,
and
well, let's talk about your career as. Would you consider yourself? Well, you probably have done. Well, tell me about your career. You're more than avocational, though. Have you ever done professional, semi-professional work as well?
Well, the only professional work I have done is in Indianapolis, in Carmel, Actors Theater of Indiana,
right,
and Beef and Boards. I went to New York when I was younger. I was Miss Indiana.
Oh my!
And
why am I not surprised, Jill O'Malley?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, you're gorgeous.
Well, you're very sweet. It gets harder and harder to look in the mirror.
Okay, and I hope you didn't think that was sexist, but
no, not at all, not at all. But I did go to New York. I did a few little soap opera.
You did?
Videos, and I really loved that. I did some runway modeling, and I fell in love. And now that I look back on that, I wouldn't have had my 3 daughters and all that, but I really had wanted to do more in the arts than I did.
How long did you live in the city?
Well, I would just fly in.
Oh, I see.
Yes,
nevertheless,
I didn't have an apartment.
You soaked it up.
Right, I soaked it up. It was really good. back in the day, they still have 17 magazine, but I was young and I modeled for 17 magazine.
What year did you graduate from Butler?
74.
74. Okay, so did you study theater there?
Drama,
Oh,
but I
you
also
did.
had a business minor, and I've
Okay.
used the business minor more in my career
Very
through
smart,
through
though.
radio, and now I'm still working. I took an early retirement in radio. I worked with Gary Todd.
Okay, let's get into.
Do you remember Gary Todd?
Let's get into that. Let's get into your radio career, and we'll go back to theater. Okay?
Well, I started out as a promotions director at a radio station, WLHN, and I loved that because I have, I guess performers, we all have a little of a creative side, and so I really enjoyed that. And then I started also in sales, and about that time, Gary Todd bought a station, WXXP. And he brought several people. He brought Ann Craig, David Appleford, several of the well-known Indianapolis. This is to Anderson,
Sure.
which is my hometown.
Okay.
And so I was there, worked with Gary, promotions director, did a lot of commercials, worked with Helen Wells Agency years ago
Okay.
on commercials, television, and radio commercials. And then I was with Gary Todd until he sold the station, and that became a Christian station, which didn't need advertising. And so then I was hired by Anderson University to be sales manager for WQME, which was a contemporary Christian station. And I was sales manager there, did a lot of commercials. In fact, I when I walked in this studio today, I thought, oh my gosh, and I wear a lot of accessories, a lot of jewelry, and I thought, oh my gosh, I need to take my bracelets off. I'm going to do a commercial because they'd say, Jill,
Yeah.
take your bracelets off.
Yeah.
And but I did a lot of commercials at
Okay.
that point.
Well, you and Dennis certainly had a lot in common, and just in terms of the work that you had done in your career with sales and what he did.
Right. I think that may be why we get along so well, because sometimes it's very tiring, and if you get home and you're tired, there's a reason. You've been
Sure.
working really hard.
Yeah.
So, but I loved radio. And then I took an early retirement from radio. And so I'm now working with a publishing company. It's called Mojet Publishing. And they do magazines. There are 33 different markets. Some of them are, they're normally coupon, like Great Deals, Shop Saver, Saver Gator, a lot of those.
Yeah.
And I'm selling some, but I'm actually helping more with ad design.
Okay.
And I love that. It's another side of, creativity.
Graphic art, how's that different? Is that different from graphic art or the same? Or
Well,
part of
it's basically the same.
Okay.
We actually have designers, but I work with the designers on, well, I think this is too much, too
so
little.
You're like an art director.
A little bit like that,
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Okay,
And
okay.
I help other salespeople with their clients.
So you must have a good eye.
I hope I do.
Well, you're in the theater, so naturally.
I
yeah.
think it all goes together.
Sure.
I really do.
Communications.
I've had all these little, it's mostly been media my whole life, but I've had all these little turns, and they've all kind of complemented each other. Mm-hmm. And then you're right, Dennis and I
We
have
that
a lot
in
to talk
common.
about.
I always say my through line is I have a voice, and it's communication, whether it's graphic design, the printed page, or on the stage or in the media.
Right.
Wouldn't
right.
you say?
I would definitely agree with that. It's all exciting, and I love it when it all comes
Connecting with
together.
people,
It's wonderful.
with your message.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so that explains why that you've been successful in these different areas. So the radio. What did you like most about being on the air?
I did entertainment news for a while, and I thought that was just awesome because it's wasn't hardcore. It was just bringing in some fun things, some fun facts that people would tune in and listen to that segment for. Very conversational, very relaxed, and things that are not heavy. So I like that. I did some full news too, on occasion, but I really like the entertainment news segments. And then I would interview people that had an interesting story to tell.
Oh, yeah.
You meet a lot of storytellers.
Well, look, one more thing we have in common. You like chatting with people.
I
you like
do.
people, obviously.
Oh, yes.
And you know everyone has a story.
Yes, they do.
Just ask them about it, and they'll tell you.
Right. When I was at Anderson University, they had a production company called Covenant Productions. And that was really fun, too, because I could sell Covenant Productions, and they've won several Emmys. Now, again, they don't have that company any longer, but I loved being on the set.
Well, Anderson has such a great reputation for the arts and, some of its graduates, and I think of people that we have in common, people who taught there, went to school there. I just found out Cindy Collins taught there at one time.
Yes, not just
Sandy
a couple
Patty,
years ago.
Who I've interviewed several times.
Oh, of course.
Did you ever interview Sandy in your?
Well, I actually sang on her first album.
Really?
And Sandy and I stood next to each other in a choir. I was very involved in my church at the time, Madison Park Church of God. And we were both in the soprano section, and I could hardly sing because I was trying to hear her. But she is amazing. Yeah, and I remember when Sandy, when she was a student, and her first manager was a really good friend of mine. And I can remember him saying, this gal is going places.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, I had heard of Ron and Carolyn, her parents, and her brother, Craig, and Mike. I've known them a long time.
And there's the Gaither family connection up there, right?
Yes.
And you probably knew, let's name drop. Okay, what's the name of the young woman who's from that family and she was the head of the Wisdom Truth Theater here?
Amy Gaither. Amy Gaither and I were in The Sound of Music. I was Maria and she was Lisa.
I love that.
Yes, and Bill and Glory were on the front row.
She moved to New York,
She's
and I haven't
in
heard
New York.
a peep from her.
Well, the last thing I saw that she was doing Shakespeare. So I think she's doing very well.
For those who don't know, when I mentioned Wisdom Tooth Theater for a while, it was the resident theater at the Basile Indy French Theater downtown
and
in the old church.
Ron Johnson was her partner.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Did Ron have Anderson ties too?
He used to teach there. He
see,
taught
there
in
you
the
go.
drama department there
And
for
then
years.
they have a pretty incredible dance company theater there because I
They
knew George.
do.
George, blanking on his name.
George,
he's Latino.
I know. Yes, George,
He's
but
Mexican American, and he left dance after his career. He retired. He went up there to teach.
yeah, Kenny
I've not been up
Shepard,
there. I should have people on from that university to talk about their
Doug
program.
King.
Really?
I took tap classes from him.
Oh, wow.
He
Doug King's been a performer at Beef and Board Center Theater for
A
many
long time. He's such a great dancer. I totally enjoyed it. I started tap when I was
choreographer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I started tap when I was 4 years old, and then all of a sudden later on I thought, boy, I need some exercise, and that is about the best exercise you're going to get.
Kidding.
So I was sales manager at that time at WQME, so I talked to Doug, and I said, hey, I don't want to take the class, but is there any way I could do it adjunct or something? Mm-hmm. He said, just come on over, and started out in the beginner's class, and he put me in intermediate.
Yeah.
So that was a little more challenging, but yeah, it was a great dance program. But see, they don't have that anymore at the university. I didn't
realize that.
They've kind of changed directions. I don't know enough to speak on it, but I know that they still have performances.
What's the church affiliation that they have?
Church of God.
Church of God. And how much would you say anybody can go there, right?
Oh,
So
of course,
you don't have to be
yes.
a member. Well, it's the same with Catholic universities.
Right.
And, anybody can go. If you want a good education, are they very education-based?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
I know they have an amazing
It's
nursing.
not a place where you'll go and you can expect to be proselytized, that sort of thing.
Well, I would hope not. I
Yeah.
don't think so. It's a pretty.
Well, it
it's
has
a small campus.
It has a strong liberal arts, right? It's
Right.
Strongly liberal arts.
Liberal arts, and like I said, their nursing program is excellent. It's a good school. It's a very pretty campus, and yeah, it's a great place.
High academic standards, I presume.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about your career, your bio, your resume. I want to hear about some of the shows. Let's talk about the shows that you've done, and how many shows do you think are under your belt?
Oh my goodness,
Do you do sing as well?
I do. I do sing.
Triple threat.
Well, I used to be.
Oh, I bet you.
Yeah, I sang with a big band for years.
You did?
The Heartland Big Band, and then I also sang with the Beef and Boards Big
Oh,
Band.
wow, so you know a thing or two about the Great American Songbook.
I do.
And Michael Feinstein and what he's done, right?
My mother sang with a big band, and so when I was growing up, Glenn Miller was playing all the time, and I got a taste of that. So it was just. I don't know, the time I was doing it, I just felt so close to Mom because I was singing some things that I remember her singing when I was a small child. So, yes,
Did you ever sing on the radio or with a big band?
No.
Like in the old days?
No.
Did she?
Well, I don't know.
At some point she had to.
She probably did. I know the big band, I forget the name of it. It was based in Indianapolis, and that's where my father met her. Is when she was
I hear
singing.
It's coming back. A lot of young people love that experience of having all those musicians and dancing to that kind of music.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, the Great American Songbook kind of proves that. You know, all the things that Michael Feinstein has done for the community, you know, to bring back those songs. And, I mean, the era of those songs, I mean, they're classics.
Yeah.
You know, there are some decades that I'm thinking, is this music going to be remembered? You know,
well,
but the
with
Great
his
American
Great
Songbook.
American Songbook Academy going strong, I'm certainly hoping it will.
Oh,
Those kids are
it'll
spreading
stay.
the gospel.
It will definitely
that's one of
stay.
my favorite activities, going to the finals. Do you go?
I do.
I mean, people, if you haven't gone, it's the best ticket in town. You see people that are going to be on Broadway someday.
That's right.
And some have been.
And you just wonder, you know, they're so young, how they could be so perfected in their craft at that age. But things are different. Tom, if we were growing up now, we might have had a different form of education as far as dance or voice or something that would have given us more of a spark. You know, I'm very happy with my life, but I think the kids now have greater opportunities.
Absolutely. And, you know, I'm always so impressed with their intellects. They're smart.
They are.
They are serious-minded, and yet they're kids still. They know how to have fun, but they're always you could tell the way they've been raised, very respectful, very polite, very generous. I mean, you know, I've had a lot of interaction with a lot of those students over the years
me too.
because I've interviewed them and their mentors, you know. The whole thing is just so positive.
It is positive, and I think it really does start a lot of times with the parents.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you meet these kids and you meet their parents, then there's no doubt why they're the way they are.
And, you know, they're such old souls because they really get the lyrics of that music. And
that's right.
Michael teaches them, and their teachers teach them how to interpret. How to, you know, what does a song mean?
Right.
What do these lyrics mean?
How to sell it.
And that was the art form for those singers like your mother back in the day. How to interpret, you know, these Cole Porter songs or whatever. You know, the old composers, and you know, back then, I hate to sound, well, I am. I'm very proud of the fact that I'm an old fogey. I love the lyrics of the old days because I love their meaning.
There's another thing we have in common.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, back to your shows. Tell me some of your favorites.
Some of my favorites. I've played Dolly 3 times, which is a great part, and
where did you play?
I played once in Muncie, once in Anderson, well, twice in Anderson at 2 different theaters.
Dolly Levi. Levi.
Yes.
Okay.
And I've also played Irene Malloy in that show. It's so funny because when you're, you know, you get to be a certain age, first of all, you age out of so many things. But Music Man, for example, I think I have been every female part except Mrs. Peru.
Okay.
And now, if I ever do it again, I don't know if I may not be young enough for Mrs. Peru, but nevertheless.
I presume you're a soprano?
I'm a mezzo.
A mezzo,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yes.
Wow, there's some great roles in that for that range.
I'll tell you a role I really enjoyed doing. I did it in college, and I did it. I also did it another time. Was Man of La Mancha.
You
Aldonza.
played Aldonza?
I did.
Wow.
I did.
Did you get bruised in that
I got
fight?
bruised. Not nearly as badly as I got bruised in Sweeney Todd.
Oh my
going
goodness.
down the chute.
Oh my goodness.
That was like black and
Where
blue.
did you do that role?
I did it with. Do you know Rick Vale?
Yes. Yeah.
I did it
know
with
who he
Rick
is.
Vale at
Okay.
Main Stage Theater.
Okay.
And Rick was Sweeney Todd, and I was the Beggar Woman.
Okay.
And Julie Dutcher, you know Julie, she's
know
from
the name.
around here. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was Mrs. Lovett. Really good show. But I was black and blue. And I know Ricky felt so badly about that because we're such good friends. You know,
Sure.
we've sung so many times together. And I've probably been married to Rick more on stage than anyone else. We've always had good marriages except when he pushed me down the chute.
Yeah.
But I've done a lot of different kinds of musicals. This Ruthless that I was talking about, that was really fun.
Remind me. I know it, but
Well,
remind
I
me.
played
It becomes a blur.
Lita Encore, and she is a critic, a theater critic, and it's really a very dark musical. It's about a young girl who wants to be a star, and she'll kill for it.
Oh.
So it's one of those things you got to
All
be
About
ready
Eve,
for.
that kind
Well,
of a,
sort of.
Yeah,
Sort
I
of.
mean,
It's-
kind of a driven, ambitious.
Right.
Has an agenda.
Right, right. But the last show that I did, which I did in November, was Company.
Okay.
One of my favorites. It was a bucket list show for me. I always wanted to play Joanne, and I did the Ladies Who Lunch. And years ago,
I'm embarrassed to admit I've never seen Company, and I've seen a lot, but that one has eluded me. I love the score. Oh my God!
It's one of my favorite Sondheim shows. It really is. And now they've done a little bit different take on it. The one that we did, Bobby, is the main character, male. The last time they did it on Broadway, Bobby was a female.
Oh.
So they've changed it a little bit.
Okay.
But it's still the same players. Patti LuPone is one of my favorites, and she's played that part of Joanne so many times. But I like shows that are ensemble shows, especially if your cast is good, you know, because everybody plays off of each other, and it just makes for a delightful time. And then also really good friends afterwards.
So, what do you tell me? Tell me. I presume you love Sondheim, and if so, why?
I like the challenge. I really do. I have been, like I said, in Sweeney Todd, Company. I was in Into the Woods. The first time I was the nasty stepmother
Where'd you do that?
at Indianapolis Civic.
Okay.
And then
Saw it. Yep.
the next time I did it at Main Stage Theater, and I was the witch. That's probably the hardest role that I've ever done. It's has the rapping. It's just lots of words.
And she's probably a friend of yours, Natalie Cruz, also. Did
Yes,
that same
yes,
role.
Natalie. Well, I was the stepmother when Natalie was the
Okay.
witch.
At
The
Booth
witch.
Tarkington.
Yes,
I
yes, at
love
Booth
that
Tarkington.
production.
That was a great show. But I just like Sondheim because it's a challenge. You have to be able to read music. I can't imagine being in a Sondheim show and just having to hear it. So I just like the challenge. But I also like Rodgers and Hammerstein, which is completely the opposite.
You spoke previously about like Sweeney Todd dark musicals. and
Yes.
all. So what are some of the others of those that you consider dark musicals?
Well, I've not been in it, but I just saw The Heathers at Footlight.
Oh, yes.
And
one of my favorites.
That's a comedic but very dark musical. And I don't know if you saw the musical at Footlight.
Not the most. No, I didn't. Unfortunately.
I am no theater critic, but it's extremely good.
Okay. Well, they have a track record for
the directing.
Extraordinary work.
Yeah, the directing is just fabulous. Jonna Kaufman's the director, and she has compiled a very talented group. Choreography's good. That's kind of a dark musical.
Do you see a lot of shows?
I do. I see as many as I can. I have so many friends that are in shows.
Yeah.
That I try to go and support them. You can't go to all of them.
What is your estimation of the Metropolitan Indy talent pool?
Oh, I think it's vast.
Can you be objective?
I think so.
Because a lot of these people are your friends.
I think so. I mean, some roles are better for people than other roles. I can be supportive of them, but I've seen some of my friends absolutely be
and you see
amazing.
Work in New York, so you have something to measure against, right? You've seen theater.
I've seen yes,
okay.
Yes, and of course I go to the Broadway series here. Have for years.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see MJ the musical?
I did. Oh my gosh!
Wasn't
Jill,
that fabulous?
I put it right at the top of musical all time, my whole life.
Oh, I do too. I was
I'm glad to hear that.
I was so excited. I knew I would enjoy it because I knew I would recognize all the music. I'd never seen it before, but I was just got.
I wrote a review about it, and I know I said I don't like to throw around superlatives. Some superlatives, I would rather. I always try to show rather than tell why I thought it was superb. Why?
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you, the acting was just it was seamless. The transitions.
I thought so too.
And the only thing and they couldn't possibly, but that told me that I wanted more character development and the different storylines and wanted to learn more, but it's not supposed to be a documentary.
No, it's more a musical review.
I consider that a positive because it made me want to see more.
Yeah. Well, there were times when I was looking up on the stage and when the older Michael, the oldest Michael, was up there, it was almost like I was seeing Michael Jackson.
He was remarkable.
They were all the Michaels were good. The young boy, that's a lot for a young kid. Mm-hmm. And I thought the middle Michael was super also.
Yes.
Just so good.
He was very unique.
Very,
very unique.
And he looked like Michael.
And the manager also played the dad. I mean, he shifted like that right on a dime.
Yeah. And I loved how the characters looked like him because the middle Michael looked like Michael before he had any of his plastic surgery.
That's right.
And then the final Michael looked like him after he had plastic surgery. Yes, it was. No, I was talking about that for a long time. And honestly, if I could have seen that again, I would have. And I don't always feel that way. Mm-hmm. I mean, I always enjoy them, but the fact that I hadn't seen it before and that it was so fabulous. I could have seen it twice.
Are you also, having sung, are you also a cabaret fan? As you know, it's an art form in its own right.
I love cabarets. I've done, we mentioned Rick Vail earlier, who is a composer, very talented pianist, very talented actor. Rick and I have done cabarets together.
Well, you have?
Yes.
Wow. So
yeah.
You've headlined.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we need to talk.
Yes.
We're always looking for performers for our Magic Thread Cabaret.
And Rick pulled me in. He sings a lot with the Anderson Symphony, and he pulled me in a year ago Christmas, and we sang together.
Do you have a cabaret show you developed?
Well, we...
one with a script, one with a
not
theme?
Not really with a theme. What Rick and I did... We did Cole Porter.
Okay.
And there was, between songs, the interludes, we would tell little things, but it wasn't, we haven't got gotten it so it's just perfection or scripted. You know, it was just kind of us getting together. But I mean, we could do something like that. There's no doubt about it. But Cole Porter being from Indiana.
Of course.
And, of course, I'm from Indiana. Rick isn't. Rick's from Seattle.
Okay.
But we would always have a theme of some sort, which I think is important. I love themes. I love themes to dress for. I love themes to sing. I just think that makes for fun for an audience.
You know, looking at you in the studio, I wish people could see you have a great sense of style. So I bet you love fashion too.
I was a fashion buyer.
Okay.
Years ago.
Why am I not surprised?
Years ago, I would go. Went to New York and went to Dallas and went to, of course, Chicago, and they had markets in Indianapolis as well. But I loved that. I was an accessory buyer, and I bought sportswear.
Now, you're wearing? Is that a fedora?
It is.
I love that.
I love
everyone,
hats.
folks. She's wearing a gray fedora, and she looks just great.
Thank
Very
you.
Annie Hall.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you. I love hats.
You
I
can pull them off. Not everyone can.
I wear
try
hats
to wear
a lot.
hats. I don't know. I don't like them on my head for some reason.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, I honestly wear them so much.
And
Sometimes
you
I
like
feel like
you like bling. Of
oh, I
course.
do.
Yeah,
I do.
And your nail polish. What is that color?
It's denim, dark denim. So it's a
Okay.
blue.
Okay, well, folks, use your imagination, but she is a fashion play sitting in front of me. So tell me about who are some of your influences as a performer?
Well, when I was really young, I loved Shirley Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember her?
Carousel.
Carousel.
So many.
Music Man.
So many.
I just thought she was amazing, and I loved her voice, and of course Julie Andrews. And it's so sad that Julie, she lost her voice several years ago. What an
Did you see that
instrument!
documentary that's streaming right now, and they go into that?
Do they? I haven't seen that.
It really is. It's phenomenal. It's.
I think it would make me sad.
Yeah, it that's what it was for me. It was tragic. If
Right,
nothing else,
right. And then
But she did do something recently where she did sing, but she doesn't have that octave anymore, high octave. But she can still sing. It's not, it's
Right.
she can't sing it full voice like she did, but she can. She does it once in a while, I think.
Right. And through the years, Patti LuPone.
Yeah.
She's
have you ever
very-
seen her perform live?
I have.
Oh, did you see her Broadway show? Something Heart, something. I saw her at Lincoln Center one time, and wow. blew
Well,
me
she's
away.
just amazing. One of the best compliments I ever had, I was doing The King and I, and this guy came up to me and he goes, I sat through the whole show and I'm trying to figure out who you remind me of. And The King and I is kind of a strange show. And he said, but you sang that song like Patti LuPone. And I said, wow.
One of the first Broadway shows I saw was she played Eva.
Eva Perón.
Evita, and I'll never forget her up on that balcony in that white dress and the blonde.
Amazing.
With what's his name? The guy who played Che. I just saw Mandy Patinkin.
Yeah, he's I saw him at the Palladium a few years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed that one.
There was a lady in the audience. Of course, they say no cell phones, no pictures, very explicit.
She'll call you out if you do.
And he took her phone in the middle of the show and she had to open it, and he went in and deleted everything
Really?
that she had taped for that evening. I thought, oh
I
my
never heard
goodness.
that story.
I was there, so I know it happened.
Oh my
So,
God!
and I'm sure she got her phone back, but I don't remember him.
There
handing
must not
it to
have been
her.
a sound in that.
Oh, there wasn't. You could have heard a pin drop.
Oh, that I never heard that story.
Just people just obey the rules.
Well,
I mean, if you're not supposed to
It is
video,
the
don't
bane-
video.
It is the bane of my existence. And give me just a little minute to do a little public service announcement. People, put those damn phones away.
Right.
And when I'm sitting there reviewing, I don't care if it's 2 rows away. I can see that light on the phone when you're scrolling. And what the hell is so important
Right.
that you can't? I think a lot of people just don't know any better.
You know,
they're not educated. They don't know the ritual. They don't have, or some of them don't care. They
It's
don't
just
have
so
any
rude.
Yeah.
So rude.
And have you ever shut someone down? Have you ever turned to someone and say, "Excuse me"? I always try to be polite because I'm always afraid there's going to be a scene because some people may react. So I'm always very careful, but sometimes I have to speak out. Have you ever?
I haven't really had to, like in a performance, if I'm sitting next to someone, but I'm sure that if it were causing a ruckus, I would say something in a polite way.
Yeah. Well, and I know that for performers, serious performers, it is a huge same thing. They can see those lights out there,
Right.
and they can stay focused and stay in character. But nevertheless, why make life hard for these people? They're
But
doing their
honestly,
job.
they might break character too. I mean, it
exactly.
can be very difficult.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
So
it's
I
just
think
rude.
there are some rules in some theaters where that you can't take your phone to the theater, that you collect them later. They put them in a big basket.
Oh, really? I've not been to one of those.
I've heard about that.
I
But
think I just leave it at home
I
if
would
that
have
were the
loved to
case.
have been in the audience and Patty yelled at that person on the. on the
That
phone.
wasn't long ago. In fact, I believe that's when she was doing company.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll tell you somebody that in recent years, I saw her on Broadway in The Prom, is Beth Level.
Okay. Yeah.
I just think she has the
Level.
most amazing comedic
she's done
timing.
the cabaret here, I think, at downtown.
Is that
I
right?
believe so. Cause
That's
she also
such a
has
neat
She
place.
has a cabaret act, yeah.
Yeah, she's so good, so relaxed. I mean, she can belt like nobody's business, and I love seeing The Prom.
One of my favorites.
It's
Did you
great.
see the summer stock stage this past year?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. That's a part I would love to do someday.
Which one?
Beth's part,
Okay.
Dee Dee.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dee
I
Dee.
think that would
Marnie
be fun.
Lemons did it
The
at the Tarkington.
aging Broadway star.
Marnie Lemons, you saw her?
Yes, I
take?
saw Marnie do it. She did a great
Oh,
job.
gosh.
Yeah.
She inhabited that role.
Yeah.
She lived it.
Yeah.
She jokes about it.
Right.
She was on this podcast,
Uh-huh.
So tell me, let's talk. Do you like to mentor young people, young performers? Do you mentor?
Well,
and
I
if
have.
So how?
I have. Well, with my pageant background, I've done judging, and
Speaking of Marnie, she's in the pageant world too.
she is a director of a pageant.
So tell me about this pageant.
Well,
we need to
I-
talk about that.
I
judged one once.
Well, I've judged-
I had a former sister-in-law who's heavy. Shirley Souter in Northeast Indiana. She's heavy into the pageant scene, an organizer. She's involved in all of that stuff. And she
Right.
asked me to come to Auburn to do a pageant, to judge a pageant. I had a blast.
Oh, it really is fun. Well, it started after I was Miss Indiana, and then I've gone back. I've
When
judged.
were you Miss Indiana? What year?
Do I have to say?
Oh,
A long time
there's
ago.
the internet, Jill. People are going to find
A
out.
long time ago. No, 1969.
I love that. That's
And-
my senior year of college.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, I had just graduated from high school, and but anyway, back to the mentoring. A lot of people would call and say, "My daughter is going to be in a pageant. Could we come by and talk to you?" Or so I've helped a lot of girls with
Preparation.
with their songs and with their wardrobe, because I think wardrobe is very important. You got to
gown-
accentuate the positive.
The gowns. And
Yes,
swimsuits
yes,
and
exactly.
all that stuff.
And interviews.
Yeah.
So yes, I've done a lot of that, and it's fun. I enjoy it.
What was your talent?
I sang and danced.
What did you sing and dance in the
Well,
big one?
Have you ever seen the musical The Fantastics?
Oh yeah, one of my favorites.
I was
Oh,
Louisa
I love
in
that
high
song.
school, and I just graduated from high school, so I did much more, and we put a dance break in the middle of it, and I did a little bit of the monologue.
Do you have that on tape?
I think so, but I don't know where.
Wow.
But yeah, I
I
have
love
pictures
that.
more than I have the actual thing.
The
But
last production I saw was at Actors Theatre, and that's where we discovered Logan Moore, who ended up in my musical, Call to the Musical.
Logan's amazing, isn't he?
Oh, my goodness.
Yes,
Is
yes.
he working in New York now?
Well, I think he's working more now. I think he was out west at a theater, and I
know that.
believe he's in Indianapolis now, but I'm not sure.
Well, I know, isn't it funny? Sometimes you have to go to New York to get work in Indianapolis if you're from Indianapolis.
Yeah.
No, but he's got a long history with beef and boards. And,
Oh yes.
Yeah.
No, he's so talented.
He's always got a home there, I'm sure.
Oh, he plays a mean guy so well.
Oh, yeah. Well, his I'm trying to think of was it Phantom that he did at Beef and Boards?
Yes.
He knocked it out of the ballpark. Yeah.
He
So
always
anyway,
does.
so fantastic. You
Yes,
did that as talent.
I did that in high school, and I didn't even really think I was going to get. I never had aspired to get into a pageant. The local pageant director and my mother, he called my mother, and my mother, who was a performer, said, "You really need to put Jill in this pageant. It'd be great scholarship money. You know, I think she'd do well. She might not win it because she's so young, but put her in." So they had the papers filled out before I even knew I was going to do it. But then I had just done that show, and my drama coach in high school and my madrigal coach in high school got with me, and we, kind of directed
That's
the thing.
great.
And
So did you make appearances for a year? All over
I was
the
all
state,
over, all over.
parades,
Not
and
just Indiana. I did a lot of judging in Georgia, Tennessee, Florida. I had to stay out of school a year because
Did you go on to the Miss America pageant?
I did.
Wow.
I did.
How'd you do?
Well, I got a non-finalist award, but again, I was so young. Everyone that was there was pretty much 22, 23. They'd already graduated from
Must have had
college.
great poise.
I think, well, being an only child, I think that, I kind of matured early. I'll tell you something I did. I was like a rebel. The swimsuit competition, which I absolutely didn't like then, and I'm so glad they took it out.
Yeah.
But we had to wear one-piece swimsuits with the panel. When I say a panel, it's, down kind of straight across the legs. I did not wear the panel. I just wore the one-piece swimsuit because it made your legs look better. I mean, it kind of elongated where that panel cut you in two, and I got by with it. But I was the first one to wear a swimsuit that didn't have a panel.
Yeah, you're a renegade.
I was, still am.
So what would you say to those who are considering career or even just avocational in the theater? What would you say to young people, anybody listening, and their parents? Let's do two. What do you say to the young people who might be listening and are inspired by your, what you shared here?
I would say that you need to get some training or some familiarity with, of course, acting and vocals. But I think a lot of people leave out the dance. They just work on their voices. Their voices are gorgeous. But I've been in some shows with some talented young people, and it comes to stage movement and dance, and they just don't cut it. So you've got to work on all three of those things. You've got to be a triple threat now more than
all
ever.
the theater schools, they
More than ever.
concentrate on marketability.
Right.
You need to be able to do theater, film, recording.
That's right.
Whatever.
And there are so many. I think in Indiana we're lucky, like the Indianapolis Civic workshops and classes for students. They're right here they're in Carmel, you know, and take advantages of those things. It's kind of like what we talked earlier, you know, back when we were growing up, you didn't have as much, but you can actually research and find out that you can get top-notch.
You make a good point. I didn't discover, unfortunately, for a variety of reasons. My parents, you know, didn't have an education, so they couldn't have guided me there. But even I went to Catholic schools, and even then anyway, long story short, I didn't discover theater until high school. And when I saw my first play, it's like, where have you been my whole life, this experience? So to have been able to get into a program when I was like in grade school, I wish I would have had that. I've been catching up. I feel like I've been catching up ever since.
Well, I started dance at 4, but
I love that.
My first show was in middle school, junior high. They were doing an operetta, Mr. Kane of Sleepy Hollow. And I ended up auditioning, and I got the part of Katrina Van Tussle. And the funny thing about this story is I had braces on my teeth. I was having some throat trouble, and so I was backstage sucking on a lemon. Well, my mother's in the audience, and she comes running backstage. The lemon had made my braces black. And so when I smiled, it didn't look like I had any teeth. So it was one of those things that I didn't live down for a long time, like I was toothless.
Yeah. So what would you say to parents?
Just what I just really said, research where you're taking your children. You know, there are ways to be taught. There are some people that teach, and it's a great babysitting service, but they're not going to get anything out of it.
How about exposing your children to music, theater, and dance?
Oh, I think
taking them to performances.
Always. And my girls, they were in shows with me. When I did Oliver, I had 3 little girls.
Names? What are their names?
Amanda, Angela, and Allison.
And what do they do now?
Well, one of my daughters, my youngest daughter, is deceased.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. It was when H1N1 was very prevalent and taking a lot of young people's lives.
Oh.
Very difficult, obviously. My oldest daughter works for IU Health. She works in the radiology area.
They're all over the place now, downtown.
That's right. My middle daughter, Angela, is head of a Montessori school, and her degree was in elementary education with early childhood development. And so they're both very happy. They're married. I have 6 grandchildren that, of course, are the best grandchildren ever. And so my girls have done very well.
Well, you know what? This has been just so much fun, and thank you again for sharing your time. And I'm going to run into you on the aisle at Beef and Board Center Theater.
I hope so.
For their next media night. I always look forward to those, don't you?
I do too.
It's the sense of, talk about community.
It's like coming home.
Exactly. So, do you have anything that you're working on the stage? Do you have anything in the works?
Not right now.
Anything that caught your eye next season?
Well, I've been looking at auditions, and right now, I guess I just don't see anything. It's got to be the perfect. You got to be the perfect age, the perfect everything. And I don't want to waste people's time, nor mine. Okay. But I'm constantly looking for things.
Okay, well, I hope to see you in something, and I hope it's soon.
Thank you.
And with that, I give you a really joyful goodbye, and I hope to see you in the studio again. We'll talk some more up the road.
Sounds wonderful. Thank you for inviting me. Okay. It's been delightful.
Our thanks go out to our media sponsor, Urban Times. Urban Times is a monthly news magazine which serves as the official newsletter for 15 Indianapolis neighborhoods, offering news about development, arts and entertainment, and from the business community. Thank you for joining me on the aisle. Please subscribe to my podcast, and if you want to hear previous episodes, find them on the All Indiana Podcast Network, or listen to them wherever you get your podcasts. This is Tom Alvarez.
Who will take center stage on the podcast next? Your seat on the aisle with Tom Alvarez awaits. Follow Tom on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and make sure to visit tomalvarez.studio. Watch Tom every other Thursday on Lifestyle Live on Wish TV, and make sure to listen every week here on the All Indiana Podcast Network.